everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton, where we are playing turn 59. And this is actually a really big turn. So, we didn't really discuss a certain development that happened last turn, and that's because I was unsure about it. I've been since conferring with people, and it is all but confirmed that Pan is trying to throne rush. So, we're going to go through our turn, and then we're going to talk about what is happening at that point, or around that situation, what we are going to be trying to do, etc. etc. Alright, so we have received 15 astral gems from Lanka. Nice. We might be able to make good use of these. We'll see. Dorian, the White Minotaur, has claimed the Throne of Destiny in the name of the White Weeping Willow. Cool. We've got a series of site searches and other spells. Gnome Lore, found nothing. Sham 4, cast Transformation, and this is really actually very unlucky. So we did this in a Luck 2 province. It's pretty low that it's a pretty low chance that your transformation actually dies. Period. Even in neutral provinces. In Misfortune 3, the chance is much greater, but it's actually still relatively low compared to your chances for getting like feeble-minded or something like that. So that this happened in a Luck 2 is pretty unlucky. But it happens. No big deal. At the end of the day, the same mission was accomplished. Well, we no longer have upkeep for that guy. It just, you know. Oh, boy, you quit tapping me. Claws hurt. We had Arcane Probing, found nothing. Augury found nothing. Horror Specs found nothing. Dark Knowledge found nothing. We summoned some Yetis. Another Arcane Probing found nothing. Voice of Apsu found nothing. Auspex found nothing. We searched with an Into. This is searching for H3 or lower sites, and we found nothing. We did not capture any Blood Slaves in Bell. We had some deaths in movement, and then we've got some battles. Okay, so we've got a battle in Olivia. Let's go and watch that. So this is our little squad of Ishibs. Of course. Let's watch how this goes. We're up against a big group of Marrow. We should be just fine here. Just fine. Our Ishibs immediately water power. Nice. Now all our Ishibs are water 4. Very cool. That only took 13 fatigue instead of 20 fatigue. Very nice. And water elementals. Nice. Okay, so these big boys are very scary underwater. High regeneration, resistant to everything, multiple attacks, decently high hit points. These will fuck you up, and they are going to fuck up these Marrows. We are sitting at 82 fatigue, and we only used a single water gem on each person. Perfect. All right, and we go summon water elemental. Whew. Round 2. All right, cool. We are at 119 fatigue, and we used all 3 water gems. Why do you do this to me, game? Why? Why do you do this to me, game? This is the part of the game that is incredibly frustrating. These guys are on conservative gem usage. It takes one fucking gem to cast a water elemental. They did it correctly the first time, and it left them with enough fatigue to turn around and do it again correctly the second time, and then they'd be at like 160 fatigue. And would they be basically out of the battle for the rest of the fight? Yes. But was that what I wanted? Yes. I wanted them to do that so they would have 2 gems left each. Fucking. Ugh. Fuck you, game. Again, I've said this 1,000 times before. I will say it 1,000 times. Dominions is amazing. It's a great, strategically deep game. And the fact that you can't control every single little movement of every single person is part of what makes it so interesting and fun, etc., right? The chaos of battle eventually takes control, and all plans go awry, right? Except scripting, your 5 turns of scripting, right? Or your 5 scripts are the limited control that you have, and you should have basically perfect control of that. I should be able to come in here and say, do not use more than 1 gem per casting for this. If you are going to die, do not use more than, just fuck off and die then. There should be way more finite control. And to that point, right? If there's a Dominion 6 in the future, give us more finite control over the scripting process, and give us control to where we have reserves, right? Where we go, here are your active gems, and this would solve this problem right now, right? If I could on these issues go, here are your 2 active gems. I want you to use these during this battle, right? Here are your other 2 reserve gems. Do not use these unless your life is in peril, right? Unless you take hit point damage, unless you are below half hit points, or unless the force is overwhelming, whatever, right? Anyways. So, we've got our 10 water elementals, and our 10 water elementals are going to be more than enough to destroy these Marrows. Probably could have done it with just the 5, but I was a little concerned, so easy peasy. Okay, so now we've got some other battles. We've got a battle between Yomi and Lanka. In Yomi, so here's a force from Yomi. He ain't dead yet, and a little province defense from Lanka. So there's not much here. Lanka's province defense is going to get overwhelmed. Fortunately, this isn't a... I mean, it's 170. I say it isn't large. This isn't a massive force. So hopefully Lanka will be able to take care of it. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. We have another battle. Henom versus Pan. Go ahead and watch this. And this is... I love this. I love Henom's... long dead Rephites. They're so freaking cool. They are some of the coolest looking, probably the coolest looking undead peeps. They just look badass, towering over the other long dead. They're so cool. So this is mostly just a undead army. Actually, I say mostly. It is just an undead army led by Mound King. Henom is pretty fortunate in that scenario to be able to get long dead Rephites. I think it would be cool if there were more sites in the game that allowed you to get other effects like just shits and giggles, right? What if there was a death site that maybe it's like a death 1 site, and it's basically undead, or not undead. It's basically a ancient Rephite city, right, or something like that. You know, Rephite ruins, right? That type of scenario. And if you animate in that province, then you can get long dead Rephites, right? That would be cool. Or if you did like, you know, like pyramids, you could get, you know, some type of special unit that type of way through animation. You know, I think that type of stuff it adds locations, sites, and events like that add depth to the game. They add interesting little bonuses. It's like every time you find, like if I find garnet sorceresses or crystal sorceresses, regardless of who I find them on, I'm like, oh, cool, you know? So it's that type of stuff. Like, we've got our little enchantment site, and that's pretty neat, right? But I think, again, for this concept of like Dominion 6, increasing the number of sites and what you can do at sites and events that come out of sites and things like that, I think is probably one of the keys to making the game incredibly deep. So, just watch this. We're just gonna run over this province defense. No big deal. Very cool. Like Rephites. So they do lose 2 Rephites. It's whatever. We have taken control of the province of Wick. Easy peasy. Just moving in behind Lanka. We had a war breakout in Kronberg, and there's great turmoil in the land. Large part of the population has been killed or fled. This is trash. This is absolute trash. This is nearly 5,000 population. This Kronberg is one of my largest provinces. It just went from being about 20k down to like 15. It just got trashed. That's real bad, really bad event. White Peaks did net some of that population, but White Peaks is, I think this basically doubled the population of White Peaks, so whatever. And children are disappearing in the night in Eon. So, here is Pan. Pan has claimed this throne this turn, the Throne of Destiny. Claiming the Throne of Destiny, right, puts Pan at 10 points. They've got the Golden Throne, the Throne of Destiny, the Throne of the First Age, and the Shattered Throne. Very cool. Okay. This means they need 7 points in order to win. So, I was aware of this last turn. I think I pointed out the Pan army that was in the Cracked Earth last turn. And it was a possibility that I began kind of like talking with some people about them maybe moving towards Titan's Breath. The only thing is that they already had 4 thrones, right? And even if this throne, because I don't know what this throne is, I don't know what Titan's Breath is. If this is, even if this is one of the remaining 3-point thrones, they will still need 2 other thrones. And if this is one of the remaining 2-point thrones, it's possible that they will need 3 other thrones. Okay? because this is honestly kind of a high amount of ascension points, and because of the mixture of tier 3 thrones and tier 2 thrones, it's kind of an odd situation, right? It is possible that Pan is going to need several thrones aside from this one in Titan's Breath, even if this one in Titan's Breath is a tier 3. And I when I say it's possible, I mean, obviously they need more thrones, but they have made a play for other thrones this turn as well. So I believe they're making a play in Realm of Silence for another throne, but that one could be a tier 3 or a tier 2, right? I think they are also making a play for Raphabolia, which again could be a tier 2 or tier 3. I think they have Silver Fangs, but I do not believe they have claimed it yet. So that being said, right, for example, they will need at least 3 thrones. Okay? And there are enough thrones on that side of the world for them to get. But those thrones are not free, right? Those thrones, some of those thrones are in the hands of Mictlan, some of those thrones are in the hands of Henom or close to him. So this, and here's the other thing is we don't know how many H3s that Pan has. We know there is the White Weeping Willow, right? They do not natively get anything more than H2, right? So this means a prophet, potentially, right? And then alternatively, we're not playing with trying to make sure. Yeah, so we are actually playing with worthy heroes, which means that I think they can also get back there quick. Yeah, so okay. So none of their heroes are H3s either. Okay? And the White Minotaur that we just saw, right? Dorian the White Minotaur, he's only an H2. So he is likely their prophet. Unless there's something that I'm missing, which is possible. But it seems like he's likely their prophet, which means that their god is probably, because I don't think they have any, like, they're not bishop fishing or anything like that as far as I'm aware. Because they don't have this pond. I don't think they have this pond. I don't think they have this pond. So this is kind of like the scenario is we're in this vein where we're pretty sure Pan is trying to get a throne victory, but we don't know if Pan's getting a throne victory this turn, or if Pan's getting a throne victory next turn, or the turn after that, right? Like, how many turns does Pan need in order to accomplish a victory via ascension points? I don't know. So this is going to shift all of our gears to kind of try to figure out what that situation is and take care of it. Okay, so we're gonna start away from, this is now the focal point. Titan's Breath is now the focal point for us. Hall Woods is not, because got a motherfucking bramble fort, so can't really do much about that one. So we're definitely going to be focusing on Titan's Breath for now. So we're going to move as far away as we can. And looky, fucking Shit. I don't even know where this sieging force came from. I guess it came from the Cloudbreakers. But it feels like Yomi is just the thing that won't die. Fortunately, I think while this force is large, I think it's going to take them a couple turns to try to take their capital back. I am concerned, of course. I hope Lanka can just smash through them, but I am concerned, of course, that shit, Witch's Bog, and Crypt of the Sun. Damn. Yomi had some fucking really good sites. Like, really good, like, groups of sites. Like, I have very few provinces that have, like, several sites. Even, like, my Fever Fens and my Sinkhole Swamp, right? I've got one site in my swamp here and 2 sites in my swamp here. I guess this cave has a bunch of sites, but I don't know, they're not like fantastic sites. Anyways, I'm belly aching regardless. So I'm concerned about this. It's possible that Yomi's power is broken. As far as I'm aware, Lanka should be able to smash through them. And it's just cleanup. But the problem is I've got to pull my forces out of here, and they might start rampaging through, causing issues. We just got all this land. I really want to keep this land. It's going to be a fucking headache. So, we're going to cross our fingers and hope that Lanka's got this. All of these elders up here, by the way, I've got elders in every province, or about to have elders in every province. They're all on retreat, because hopefully, you know, we can get this all taken care of. I'm trying to get all of this stuff, the defense up, so we can get the unrest down, and so that it can actually be good land for us. But we'll just have to fucking see. Okay. Isham 1, our little Yeti thug, is running all the way over to Tessifon. All these Ishibs are heading up to Trackless Waste for the plan of then heading down into Green Waters. Okay? Everyone else, all of this shit is all, like, mass movements down towards Kohnberg and Kunaral. Right? So NC2, he can make it to Perenna. We've actually got Elder 2 heading down to Tessifon, and he's bringing all of these units, right? We're going to have to stop patrolling in Eol and in Delka for now. We've got most of the units here in Neotha are continuing to research, and that is because I'm having to move the majority of my other mages. Okay, so this has now turned into my research core, and I'm hoping that it works. But there are a few that are actively doing things here. One is Isham 2 is moving, and he is on his way to Tessifon because he's got 22 map moves, so he can get pretty far in a single turn. We are not moving Isham 3 because Isham 3 is kind of a useless, not useless, obviously there are good uses for him, but Isham 3 is our Foul Vapors shaman, and he does nothing against Pan. Pan is going to Foul Vapors. Isham 3 would just be putting up a Foul Vapors, so it's whatever. He's gonna research, very, very necessarily research. You can see we've got boosters, both research boosters, path boosters, etc., just strewn about, trying to get as much research as absolutely possible. And we've got Nazar II casting Gift of Health, and he's dumping a shit ton of gems into it. This is obviously, right, like I want Gift of Health myself. I was going to wait another turn or two, but this is a... oh shit, Pan is potentially about to win, so what different things can I do? Well, I can probably take away Gift of Health. Taking away Gift of Health means that Pan has a tougher time winning the fights ahead of him, in theory, right? So fingers crossed that works. We're also fingers crossed that it works because we are dumping a shit ton of gems into it. Oifa doifa. So, we'll see, right? What else do we've got going on? NC4 is moving as far as he can. He's taking 100 units over to Kun Aral. Elder 16 is also taking all of those Yetis over to Kun Aral as well. We've got people in Ctesiphon. All of these crystal sorceresses are moving to Kronberg. Along with NC6 and Elder 15, and I think Elder 3 as well. Yeah, basically everyone in Ctesiphon is moving to Kronberg. So that's a 54 stack or 52 stack, 31 stack of Yetis, some other individuals, etc. Okay. A massive amount of our units in are moving from to Kronberg. So the individuals that are moving versus the individuals that are not moving is very carefully crafted because of this. Because who is moving and who is not moving gets us to, and this is about as close as I could get, but it gets us to 1,105 research. And 1,105 research, you can see we have stopped gears. I do not believe I can hit enchantment 8 in 2 turns with the amount of mage movements that I need. That is incredibly unfortunate. Enchantment 8. Now, can I hit enchantment 8 in 2 turns? Absolutely. But I will have to greatly diminish the amount of forces that I need to bring to a battle with Pangea in order to do that. And that might actually be the right move. It might be more valuable to us to greatly reduce the number of mages that we bring and instead bring Frostfend and Mass Regeneration. Those are incredibly powerful abilities that are going to really, really help us. Maybe. I don't fucking know. Right? I don't know if that's the right answer. This is one of the reasons why I love this game, is because when you get into these tight situations, you really have to you have to judge, you have to weigh what's the more important option. What can I get to? What can I guarantee that I can get to? And what can that accomplish for me? So, with the amount of movement that we are doing, we can definitely get to Evocation 5 this turn. So, on turn 60, we will have Evocation 5. We will blow through Evocation 4, and we will have Evocation 5. What does that get us? Very specifically, it gets us a couple of things, okay? It gets us Thunderstrike, which we can utilize very easily with our communions, our crystal sorceresses, casting Storm, which we will also be getting, and then all of our air gurus being storm powered and then thunder striking. This is this is kind of like the evocation spell, right? This is what most people think about when they go to evocation. This is one of the main powers of air as a path, right? Fog Warriors and Storm Thunderstrike are like the go-to things, okay? And Mist Form, right, for thugs. So this is an incredibly powerful spell. It is going to be very, very useful for us. But that's not the only thing to kind of like bring into this situation. Blade Wind is a very potent ability. It's a very strong attack. It might not be the best in this scenario because we're up against a lot of, if we take a look, we're up against a lot of Long Dead or soulless warriors, right? And these soulless warriors are they're relatively high HP. They've got like 15 HP. They've got shields, etc. But what it's really good against is it's really good against Maenads and Revelers, right? Who are not really armored, who are not really shielded. And so with something like Blade Wind, we can Earth Power on our Earth Gudus and Blade Wind, and a couple of volleys of these. Now, it's very high fatigue cost, right? But we can put Earth Gems on them in order to burn through that fatigue cost. So we can Earth Power, and then Blade Wind, Blade Wind, Blade Wind, Blade Wind, and that would cost us about 5 or 6 Earth Gems per person. So that's a fucking investment, right? But when you're trying to like keep a game from being lost at the last minute, you do what you got to do, right? But this is a lot of attacks. Blade Wind, very kind of quintessentially the spell, right? With all the smiths coming out and blade winding the shit out of you, but this can be very, very effective. Okay. But that's not all. We can Earthquake him. We can Earthquake the shit out of him. So Earthquake is a complicated spell. Earthquake traps are somewhat notorious, and can be a bit hit or miss. So we can take a Earth Gudu, and we can put a pair of Earth Boots on them. We've got, I believe, 2 pairs that are currently active, which is good, because we would need at least 2 pairs. 3 would probably be better. But we could put an Earth Boot on a Gudu and then have them walk into a fight and summon Earth Power that puts them at Earth 4, and then they cast Earthquake. Now, you can do more than that. You can do, like, Iron Skin, because, if I'm remembering correctly, Earthquake is armor piercing, but it does do... So that's only, it's not armor negating, right? So if you have high armor, it can help to defend you from it, right? But having a scenario where you go, all right, here's 2 Gudus, summon Earth Power, Iron Skin, potentially, if that's something that you're going to do, and then you put, honestly, you put like 10 gems on them, and you go Earthquake on both of them. And that's 16 armor piercing damage across the entire battlefield. If you really want to like guarantee it, you do something like 3 of them and you do 24 armor piercing damage across the battlefield. And you can do multiple Earthquakes potentially if you set it up right. The issue being is that it does have a high casting time. It is going to cost a lot, etc., etc. Our god, for example, and this is actually really interesting, our god can do teleport Earthquake traps. So our god can teleport into a place, especially if it's on the edge of our lands, right? Can do something like, and we might end up doing this next turn, we might teleport our god in here along with 2 Earth Gudus and Earthquake, 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 and then have our god just run, right? And maybe even have the Gudus to just run if they're alive, you know? But that could potentially wreck this fucking whole battlefield. Now, granted, he's got white centaurs in here, and these white centaurs are going to turn into bullets across the freaking map. So having some sort of chaff is probably going to be a pretty important thing. The chaff is basically guaranteed to die. We are recruiting a bunch of, I say bunch, we're recruiting spearmen. I considered flipping that over to infantry, but we actually didn't get that many more infantry compared to spearmen. So, because this place is partially, if we've got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we get 2 more infantry instead of 8 rear guard. So yeah, that's kind of and I'm spending a lot of time talking about this because that's kind of the big thing is we're moving a whole lot of our mages from but not all of our mages. All of our mages in Kronberg are researching. We are doing no forging this entire turn because we want to try to make sure that we have absolutely as much research as possible in order to hit Evocation 5 this turn. And what that's going to allow us to do is that's going to mean next turn we can potentially do an Earthquake Trap, or, and I have no idea, like, so we have multiple options with this, right? Because our god, let me double check. Yeah, our god is exactly far enough away. So because our god could do something like teleport onto Titan's Breath, we could actually just send our god there because we're gonna have it's going to be a shitty army, but we're going to have an army in Kronberg next turn. And we're going to have a lot of mages. So, this army, this force, right, is not strong at all, but we could do something like send our god in, and, you know, boost him up, put some different items on him, put earth boots on him, maybe have him earth power, and have him earth power, earthquake, and just have him do like 4 earthquakes and then die. Like he could legit like die, and we would be like, okay, well that's not great, but you know, if you got to do certain things, you got to do certain things, right? And then we could immediately attack this turn as well, or not this turn, but the next turn as well with that army and with a bunch of mages, etc., etc. So we've got different options. We've just got to be able to find information, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find more information from other players, and set ourselves into a situation where obviously we can't do much this turn, aside from take away Gift of Health, which I need to fucking redo. Gift of Health. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the turn. It's kind of a crazy turn. It's kind of wild. Next turn, we're going to be putting all of this on people. We're going to be trying to figure out exactly how much force we can bring to bear. But I'm trying not to do this in a vacuum. I'm trying to talk to the other players, trying to figure out, okay, how big of a deal is this? Does Pan win next turn, right? Does Pan win next turn? Does Pan win 2 turns from now? Can anyone block Pan this turn? Because I could maybe block Pan next turn, right? So it all turns into this big series of question marks, and this I think is a lot of fun. This is don't get me wrong, I enjoy wars with people, whether it's a crazy shit war with Agartha or a crazy fucking attrition war with Yomi, but dealing with surprise attacks, dealing with throne rushes, dealing with that type of shit, to me is one of the most fun parts of the game, because it's kind of like the tail end of the Pokemon Gold game, right, with Cyanwood City. I had plans and plans and plans and plans and plans, right? But when it was decided we're gonna end the game in X number of turns, I had to do everything that I could to cobble together the armies and the etc. to kind of like actually do that, right? And it was known, like people may, you know, hey, if you can't do something, just like say so. But that's not part of the fun for me, right? Part of the fun is figuring out what you can do in a very tight, limited amount of turns, right? You know, it's not always about being perfect. It's about executing on the fly and pulling together what you can, you know? So I'm actually really excited with this. I'm really excited about our evocation rush. We've got just enough people. We're actually still moving a lot of units. So that's exciting. We are still going to have a big communion capable here in Kohnberg, although I think we're only going to be at 11 or 12. I think we're at 11, and then this guy over here is 12, but he can't quite make it, so he's going to right now. So yeah, very, very excited. Very, very excited. I wonder if it's faster. I don't know. Send him here for now. Not really a requirement. Okay. That is going to be it. That is the turn. I'm very excited to see how things turn out. Next turn, it might be a pan victory. If not, we're probably going to be executing some fun teleport earthquake shit. We'll see how it goes. Alright, anyways, I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.